Hi, I'm Dennis Gage, and welcome to My Classic Car. Well, this week we're in Apollo Beach, Florida to check out a couple Gen 2 F-body GMs, a Smokey and a Bandit Trans Am, and a California Highway Patrol Z28. These are from John Craddock's collection, which is one of the more focused ones I've ever seen, and it leans really heavily towards 79 Z28s. But today, these two babies are the stars. So I say let's get right down to business. John, how you doing today?
Just fine, Dennis. Nice to see you, sir.
Glad to finally meet you, man. You know, when I first heard about you, it sounded like you had one of the most focused collections I've ever heard of.
Yes, sir. It's a pretty out of control F-body collection.
It is. It's mostly it's GM second gen F bodies, but primarily a heck of a lot of Z28s, and not just Z28s, 79 Z28s.
Yes, sir. Chevrolet made 14 different colors Z28s that year, and been fortunate enough to collect one of every color.
Man, I mean, it's a lot of. First of all, it's a lot of color options to begin with.
It is. It's crazy.
But when I walked into your place, it just blew me away. I mean, and it's extremely well lit. So, you know, like it just, you walk in there, it's like, oh.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the power company loves me, for sure. So.
The whole neighborhood dims when you turn the lights on. But you've got all these different Z28s, and you've got some other things in there. You got, you know, some vets in there and some other things sprinkled through.
Odd cars, yes, sir. Old nomads, vets, like you said.
But boy, that is the biggest grouping of 79 Z28s I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if GM ever put all 14 of them together.
You know, I've often wondered that myself.
I think you're the only person that's ever done that. Well, and you know, and it, like I say, it's not just Z28s, but it is heavily F-body second gen. So that was the Firebird and the Camaro.
Yes, sir.
And this is a great place to start, because this is the Smokey and the Bandit car. Certainly
it was
what I think
the
of.
Smokey and the Bandit, even though they didn't actually call it that back in the day.
Yeah.
It was just an RPO code, Y84, which gave you the gold appointments and everything, and of course the gold snowflake wheels.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's an icon. You know, that is what these cars were known for. They're beautiful. I think it was a beautiful design.
Yes, sir. It was the Trans Am signature, basically.
And you got the correct tires on it, even. You know,
these are the factory OEM tires.
Well, the other thing that was the icon for this car was, of course, the Firebird, the Phoenix.
The bird. You know? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this is the Gold Bird. This came on the special edition car. And I was actually fortunate enough to meet the gentleman that designed this bird. Yeah, John Chanella actually designed this bird, and he told me quite a story about how tough it was to get it through production. But
so this wasn't a slam dunk?
Oh, no. He had to actually get his boss, Mr. Mitchell, to let them do a prototype car and take it down Woodward Avenue in Detroit.
To see how it would go over?
To see how it would go over.
How did it go over?
And he said the reaction was just tremendous.
People went nuts.
Yeah.
Now this is, you know, obviously a fairly loaded up car on the outside and under the hood to a certain extent, but
yes,
inside, you got the gold engine turned dash, but otherwise it's kind of stripped down.
This is a very rare special edition car. It was a customer order car. This car came with basically no options. I guess the real kicker is it's got no T-tops.
Yeah, that's right, because that was another big deal.
That was, if you had a Trans Am, especially in '79,
it was going to have T-tops.
It was going to have T-tops.
But that way, this one didn't leak.
Didn't leak, yes, sir, and I'm familiar with that because my Camaro had T-tops.
and it leaked.
Been a towel on the seat all the time.
You know, it is kind of interesting that it'd be so stripped down in there and then so tricked up out here.
Yes, sir. Well, the special edition was the appearance package.
Okay.
So that's why it really comes off as a top-line car.
Well, you know, Trans Am graphics back here, and then the
splitter tailpipes,
yeah,
yes,
I mean,
sir.
That was another. You know,
that was Trans Am.
You got the 6.6 engine, Pontiac engine, I'm assuming.
This is actually the 6.6 Olds 403.
Oh, let's go check that out.
Yes, sir. Let's go do it.
Open her up, John.
Yes,
I recall,
sir.
These weren't that easy to get into.
They were when you were 16 or 17, but now they're a little bit more difficult.
A little trickier now.
Yes,
huh?
sir. This is actually the 403 Olds engine.
Now, what's an Olds engine doing in a Pontiac Trans Am?
I know the purists probably didn't like it too much at the time, but in '79, the Pontiac 400 was a limited run in the beginning of the production year.
Oh, really? Okay.
And after that, you had to go to the 403 Olds if you wanted a 400.
Well, it looks, I mean, it's Pontiac blue.
Yeah, we cheated just a little bit. When I got the car, like I said, it was all original, but we lifted the motor out. We like our cars to look as good on the inside as they do on the outside. Lifted the motor out, cleaned it up real good, and we actually even pulled the cylinder heads off and shaved just a little bit off the bottom of them. bring that compression up to about 9 1/4 to 1, and took it to a BOP race. And car actually clicked off some 1470s at 93 mile an hour.
That's
which
respectable.
Very respectable for a car that, you know, probably weighs 38 something hundred pounds, even without AC.
Well, these are great going down the road, and you know, those are what, 30-year-old tires, and we don't want to go too fast, but we can take it out a little bit, right?
Oh, you're not
You wouldn't
kidding.
mind if I drove, would
No,
you?
heck no.
Close it up, let's go.
Yes, sir, let's go do it, man.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. How many years did they do the wild bird on the hood?
I believe the first year was in 1973. Prior to that, they just had like little pinstriping that went around the shaker. But in 73, that's when they really did the prototype and basically came on right with the bird for production.
And so then, and they ran it until when?
Well, and when the second generation ended in 81.
And that was kind of it.
That was it.
Now, how many of these, these what I call Smokey and the Bandit cars do you have? You got a few of them, right?
We've got 3 actual what you would call Bandit cars. I've got a 77 Y82 car, which was a Bandit package. And 77 was actually the year that the car was in Smokey and the Bandit movies. Yes, sir. And then I've got a 77 Y81 package car, which was a Bandit car without T-tops.
Okay.
And then I've got this Y84 car, which is an anomaly in itself. A stripped down SE it kills me. I'm glad I'm the owner of it because I've never seen one before. And of course, it had many iterations, between those years. And some years it looked pretty good. Other years I didn't really care for some of them.
Well, this is the one that you always think of. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a very rock and roll bird, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's the rock and roll, and I guess it even encompasses some of the disco part of everything.
Disco bird. Welcome back to My Classic Car. Those Trans Ams are fun. they're a lot of fun. But let's talk about what might have been chasing that car back in '79.
This would have been one.
This is a California Highway Patrol Z28, right?
This is a replica of a '79 California Highway Patrol car. It was the first attempt, I guess, at using a pony car as a police car, as a chase
really?
car. And they did it with a '79 Camaro, and they made 1 dozen of them.
Wow.
And this is like I said, this is a replica of one, but it's as close as you'll ever get to the original. Plus a few little added features that make it even better.
The same, but even better. Now, so the push bars and all that,
The push bars were installed. Once the department would receive them, they would have the push bars installed.
And the wheels?
The wheels are factory 5 spokes, painted, same color as the body, without the trim rings on them, of course.
Make them
And
again
that's
a
the way
little
they
bit
came.
more, a little more sinister. The air dam
Exactly.
and the scoop would have been regular Z28 though?
Yes, sir. They are Z28, but the stripe package is off of the entire car, so that eliminated all that.
But just seeing one of these would make you slow down. I mean, these look intimidating, the black, the white, the number on the roof.
Yes, sir, it is. We need something to make the Trans Am a little afraid of us back then. So.
Well, and interior-wise, you got the Glen plaid seat covers.
Yes, sir. This is basically the same interior as came in the police car, but the interior color was tan.
Really, that's kind of odd. Black car with a tan interior.
Yes,
I would
sir.
have thought they would have gone black.
Well, so would I, because it hides dirt better for one thing.
Exactly.
And it looks more like a police car this way. But the actual C.H.P. cars were a little more decked out. They had AC in them. They were automatics. And a little more luxury oriented. I didn't want luxury. I wanted something that I could run down a '79 Trans Am with. Everything in the car works too.
Oh, really?
The spots, the flashing headlights, the flashing rear lights, the PA system. They're pretty good when you take it to shows about letting you drive around. We have been warned about using the PA system and the sirens.
They're a little touchy about that, are they?
Yeah, they're pretty good for the most part, though.
But man, and then Highway Patrol.
Yes, sir.
Don't be messing with me, right?
Exactly.
Lights in the back. It does look It looks sinister.
Yeah, we did a lot of research on everything.
So what did you use as your resource material?
The main one was Carcraft Magazine did an article in 1979 on this car.
Ah, okay.
And I believe it was because the rider probably was on the interstate and got pulled over, and that was probably a good second way to get out of a ticket.
Hey, I got an idea.
Exactly.
Let me write an article about your car.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, under the hood, what do we have?
We've got the original 350 engine in it still.
Let's go look at it.
It worked on a little. This is the original 350 engine. When we got the car and disassembled, of course, we pulled it out. We figured we'd give it a little more horsepower than it had from the factory. The 170 just wasn't quite cutting it.
That ain't much.
No, sir. So we bored it and stroked it to a 383, put a little bit better piston in it, retrofitted it with the hydraulic roller cam, and had my stock eliminator guy do some work on the quadrijet again. And it's a runner. I mean, it's probably a 325 to 350 horse engine.
Wow, that's very respectable. Now were 79s actual Ram Air cars?
A 79 was not a Ram Air car, unfortunately. 80 and 81 were air induction cars. And this is just an 80 kit, and we just installed it on this car. One thing we had to do was just cut out the front air dam of the 79 Scoop. And you've got functional Ram Air.
Man.
I'm sure it's good for maybe 10 horsepower. So.
And she's a good runner too?
She's a good runner. I haven't had this one to the drag strip before, but I would say this car would probably run 1360s, 1370s, probably around 100 mile an hour.
That's strong.
Yeah, for being an exhaust manifold car, factory exhaust, mufflers, everything. You know, it's a nice little runner.
Well, what do you say we just take it out and scare some people?
I think we ought to go do that right now.
Let's close her up, man.
All right.
Welcome back to My Classic Car.
You, with the camera, what are you doing over there?
This thing is fun.
It is.
This baby's a blast.
You gonna have fun with that thing.
So you created this car, but where did this donor come from? Where did the original car come from?
This car, it came from Pennsylvania.
Oh wow! Now, and that wasn't rusted out either.
No, and believe it or not, Dennis, probably the majority of my cars came from that area.
From the East Coast?
Yes, sir. From the Pennsylvania area.
Oh, really?
I don't want to say the majority, but probably at least a dozen of them came from that area, and they were all perfect example cars. And one of my last cars I picked up there, I told the guy, I said, you know what? I find so many of these cars up here. I said, I don't understand it. He said, John, he said, back in the late 70s, everybody up here had money from the steel mills back in the late 70s. And he said a lot of people bought these cars and just drove them, you know, during the summer and fall, and would not drive them at all, period, during the winter.
Wow. And are any of the original dozen still around, or they've all been lost?
Do you know, I searched for years to try to find an original car because I wanted to do it, and I never could, so I went ahead and found a car to do this to. Mm-hmm. And would you believe this car hadn't been done 6 months, and a guy contacted me.
Hey, I got one.
That had one.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh,
and I'm like, you know, I was this close to telling him, yeah, I'd like to come up there and look at it, but I'm like, no. I already got it. I got one I think I would like better anyway.
Well, you know, the thing is, with this one, you can have fun with it.
Exactly.
You know, because it is a clone. It's a replica, and if you had an original, one of the original dozen, you'd be afraid to take it out.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have a blast with this thing.
Yeah.
This thing looks so wild rolling down the road.
Yeah, it does. And it's a neat feel sitting behind the wheel too, and seeing the scoop and the push bars.
You can see the push bars, yeah. Peeking out there.
Yes, sir. It's really great. Now this car is actually, you know, engine noise. You can hear, you know, lifters clattering because we retrofitted it with a hydraulic roller. So it's got, you know, it's not like just a regular hydraulic. It's nice and quiet. So, but it kind of makes up for it on the power end of everything. You know, it's.
Well, and I like that sound, actually. I mean, that makes the engine sound like it means business.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Probably should have put a set of headers on it too, but you know, we were really just trying to keep the originality of everything going on.
So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage.
Happy motoring.